You're aware of players putting in the hard yards. You've gone through the mill with them. There's definitely players like Tevita Ikanivere, Celestino Ravutaumada, the whole team, as far as the development is concerned. And what is coming through from the ground is we're finally seeing a Fiji team that is playing 80 minutes of good rugby. We are not giving in if we are trailing by a certain amount of points. We have forwards running like backs. We have seen the change of physique in players from when they started to now, almost irrecognizable what they can do. A lot of work going in there. And the other issue is about confidence levels. People like Ravutaumada now backing himself up, knowing that he can beat several defenders on to go and score on the try line. The work that's going behind the scene to make sure that these things happen, knowing that you have to focus on their physical, their mental, spiritual capacity, and including capability.
Yeah, I mean, you've just named two very, impressive young men there. So in our system, I think the crowd watches everything that happens on the field. I'll give you a brief run through of just what we do. For them to be able to do that, we do hydration testing in our environment. The boys come in the morning on our big training days and even on game days. We do hydration testing where we check urine samples. We can tell whether they are hydrated or severely dehydrated, and they need to rehydrate to make sure that their body is functioning well. We've got a very good young team of SNC coaches back at base, who run daily routines and monitoring. These boys now, what we didn't have in Fiji Rugby before, we've been able to get it in the last couple of years. Live GPS analysis. They know how fast they're tracking, how hard they're working in terms of, accelerations that they do in a training session, the highest speed running meters that they need to cover. And we have set benchmarks. Just on another example is, you probably will see the All Blacks doing, jumps in the gym and using, some kind of power monitoring devices. We have that in our environment. And the boys are able to look at their jump scores live in the gym. And they compete and contest against each other. We have leaderboards. And that's something, it brings out the young boy in them who wants to be number one in the gym room. So guys like Stino, guys like Tex, they have very high jump scores. And for us as coaches, our job is to show them and feedback to them. And we tell them, this is how fast you ran. How fast you ran is probably you're probably running as fast as Carlin Isles. That's what Stino is running right now. Some of his speeds, maximum velocities, is really up there, and their jump scores. And when we tell them and we show them these numbers, and look at your footage, look at you accelerating between two players, we could tell that from what you're doing in the gym. So you look at yourself for Masi blasting through a space that probably was not there. And even Celestino. Celestino's a prime example. He came in last year and he was just in his first year. It's quite hard for the young men. But the environment, and this is why it's so important for any team in the high performance setting. Your environment can bring out the best in your athletes. And we as coaches, our job is to make sure that we actually show them how good they can be. We need to tell them how good they actually are. And what that does, it actually boosts their confidence levels. So you see with the try Stino scored against the Queensland Reds, that final game, he kicked from inside our 22. That week he did a personal best in his maximum velocities, right? And he jumped probably as high. Probably Filippo didn't realize how high this guy can jump, because he can jump. And last year he had a severe injury playing up in Brisbane, but he's worked hard to get back where he is. And all the boys in the team, you talked about transformation, Vijay, and all our boys, they're all special in their own right. So for us, our jobs, show them the numbers, and they look at their footage, marry the two, and then just tells you. So, if they keep on the straight and narrow, man, their best version is smiling back at them, asking them to keep coming, and they'll meet.